Today on Legally Yes, Diana Jenkins filed a lawsuit in an effort to expose the bots who cyberbullied Garcelle's 14-year-old son, Jax. And Ray J slammed Kris Jenner's claims about his sex tape with Kim Kardashian. But can he take legal action? And a tabloid owner gets a restraining order against Thomas Markle. We've got that plus so much more on today's Legally Yes. Hey everyone, welcome to Legally Yes. I'm Christina, and that's of course Nima Rahmani, a former federal prosecutor and president of West Coast Trial Lawyers. Hi Nima, how are you?
Hi Christina, how's it going?
Good, lots to get to this week as always. And I want to kick it off with, this is an interesting lawsuit because Diana Jenkins, she's on the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. She is suing bots who cyberbullied her co-star Garcelle's 14-year-old son because she is getting blamed for the attacks. Now in her lawsuit, her lawyer stated dozens, if not hundreds of people have posted messages attacking Miss Jenkins for an act that she never took. This action is the only way Miss Jenkins has to fight back against the anonymous coward who decided to put her reputation, livelihood, and life in jeopardy. Now, it was reported that she had to hire 24/7 security because she was receiving death threats after Jax received these hateful messages because his mom is feuding with Diana and Lisa Rinna and Erica Jane. So I've never heard of this before, but how is it possible to sue bots?
Yeah, so here's the reason she's doing so. Normally, these big media companies, social media, traditional media, they're not going to provide information unless it's pursuant to a subpoena. So whether it's Meta, Facebook, Instagram, doesn't matter. So what people do is they sue a John Doe, a Jane Doe. Those are the bots, right? And it doesn't matter whether they're trolls or bots. They sue them. That way they can subpoena these companies and get the information as to who is actually posting these comments.
Got it. So who are these companies that supply these bots, create these bots?
So they're really the people that are posting. It can be an AI, it can be internet trolls, it could be a real person, could be a computer. It doesn't really matter. But when you're trying to get information, the only way to do so is to sue them under a pseudonym, Jane Doe, John Doe, because you don't know who they are, right? Then you subpoena the tech companies, you get the information, then you do what's called Doe them in. Once you identify who's responsible for the comments, you change the Jane Doe, John Doe to the name of the actual person you're going after.
Interesting. So this seems like a complicated thing that could definitely take some time.
Oh, definitely. And the reason you do this is you don't want to sue Google, you don't want to sue Meta directly, right? But because then you're going up against some big companies and some high-priced defense lawyers. So by suing an anonymous person, you can bring in Google or Meta as a non-party witness, you get the information you need, then you go after your actual target.
Got it. So do you think that she's doing this to prove her innocence, or is she doing this to kind of deflect the attention from the death threats and things like that? Like I don't know. She's been getting a lot of hate online from a lot of viewers from Beverly Hills this season. So do you think she's just trying to deflect that?
So, Christina, as we know, sometimes you do things for legal reasons and sometimes you do them for PR reasons. And in this case, I think it's both. She's trying to get information. Again, could be her, could be someone working at her direction, or it could be some third party. So by doing this, by filing this lawsuit, subpoenaing this information, she'll be able to find out, hey, was it, someone on the show? Was it some random person online? And when she gets that information, then I'm sure her PR team will decide how to use it.
Yeah. I mean, like you said, this is going to take quite a while. I guess it depends on what they uncover, if she wins or if she doesn't in this scenario, I guess.
Yeah, I don't necessarily think that she's going to sue some internet troll, but by subpoenaing these tech companies, she'll be able to find out really who's behind this.
Yeah, frankly, go ahead. No, I was going to say it's probably more for answers than it is to sue somebody.
Oh, definitely. This isn't about getting money, right? This is about conducting discovery and getting information. And sometimes the best way to do so is to file a lawsuit. So that's what we're seeing here.
Surprised that Garcelle didn't do this since the bots were attacking her son. Are you surprised that she didn't take this legal step?
Yeah, normally it's the victim, right, that files the lawsuit. Someone who's being attacked, they want information. The companies aren't providing it, so the victim sues. Well, in this case, people are blaming Diana. So maybe she's doing this to try to get information and clear her name.
Interesting. All right. Moving on to Ray J. Can't believe we're talking about Ray J and Kim Kardashian and this sex tape years later. But he is slamming Kris Jenner because Kris Jenner went on the James Corden show. It took a lie detector test. She passed when she was asked if she helped leak this sex tape. So he took to Instagram and wrote, "I don't give an F how old this is. What you're trying to do to me is almost inhumane and foul at the highest level. F this being just racist. This is wrong to do to anybody. You think you can just F people over and get away with it forever." So he allegedly said that this lie detector test was not accurate and alleged that Kim and Kris stole all that money from his sister Brandy and their mother Sonia Norwood. So he was referencing a 2008 lawsuit where Sonia, his mother, claimed that Kardashian fraudulently charged more than $120,000 to an American Express card owned by the Norwoods. So this was settled out of court in 2009, but he's bringing up all this older information. So he later posted a 44-minute video on Instagram claiming that he had receipts that Kim and Kris were involved in distributing the tape. He also alleged that there were different tapes rather than just one. So this tape was released back in March of 2007. Kim filed a lawsuit in February of that year against Vivid, who released the tape, claiming that she didn't authorize the release. The case was dismissed in April, and just 4 days later, Kim got an email from Vivid on sales numbers. So I don't know. I mean, do you think Ray J can take legal action against the Kardashians if he can prove that Kris is lying?
Oh my God, Christina, there's so much going on here. Let's just start with the lie detector test. You know, so I'm a former federal prosecutor. I used to work with the FBI. We would conduct these tests all the time. I can tell you they're junk science. And there's a reason that no court in the country will allow a lie detector test to come in as evidence, because they're just not reliable, even if the best of the best are conducting them. But, you know, we're really going kind of way back, and we're talking about a leak from 15 years ago. And it kind of reminds me recently of Amber Heard, right? If, you know, there's video on your phone and it makes its way to TMZ, either you did it or someone working for you did it. And obviously we're talking about a very intimate situation with Kim K and Ray J. Somehow that video got out. So even if Kris or Kim is saying, I didn't do it, I didn't leak it, well, certainly someone that had access to you and that video did it at your direction. But the reason we're seeing this come up now is, you know, the statute of limitations is the legal side of things, right? For defamation is 1 year. So whatever was said 15 years ago, you can't file a lawsuit on that in California. But if something new is said, guess what? That opens up the statute of limitations for a potential defamation case. Obviously, we saw this recently with Blac Chyna against the Kardashians. She lost pretty badly in court. Question is Ray J actually going to pursue this, or is he just going to let it go?
Yeah, I mean, it is interesting that he would still but I guess it still comes up. They were on their Hulu show and they were talking about it then. I mean, Kanye kind of brought it up. And I mean, what do you think Ray J is hoping to gain from this? Do you think he's hoping to just clear his name? Do you think he's hoping to get some money from the Kardashians? What's do you think his end game is?
Yeah, sometimes, you know, it's a legal play, right? The Kardashians are the most successful entertainers really right now. So maybe it's a shakedown for money. Maybe it's just to kind of attach your name to them. Again, we saw with Blac Chyna, right? If you are aligned with the Kardashians, you got to show you're going to be pretty successful. So I don't know if he's trying to get back in there, or it's just a matter of, again, clearing his name, something that we talked about earlier. People are maybe blaming him for the leak, where really he believes that it was Kim K and Kris.
Right. What's interesting, I mean, you know, he said he had all these receipts and that Kim filed that lawsuit against Vivid. It was dismissed, but she also got an email from them about sales numbers. So it seems like maybe they were in some sort of agreement about this sex tape.
The bottom line is this, and whether it's something Kanye said or folks who are watching, one of the reasons Kim Kardashian is so successful is that sex tape. That's just the reality of it. So whether it was her, whether it was someone acting in her direction or someone stole it, that really sort of launched her career. Obviously the show as well, but I mean, if you separate kind of the legal side of things, I don't think Kim Kardashian is complaining that this sex tape got out because it really caused her to be a huge success.
Right. I mean, it kind of reminds you a little bit about Pam and Tommy. I don't know if you watched the show. I mean, because they were kind of backed into a corner to release this sex tape. I mean, we don't know the ins and outs about why this sex tape was released through Vivid, if they were backed into the corner, that, you know, they were getting a lot of money for it, what kind of happened, but it kind of reminds you a little bit of that as well.
Oh yeah, no question. I mean, the same thing, Pam and Tommy. I mean, that really, obviously they were very famous before, but that just kind of threw gasoline on the exposure that we're getting.
Definitely. All right. Well, let's move on to Thomas Markle, because he seems like he's always in the news, and he has been hit with a restraining order after Jeff Rayner, he's the owner of Coleman Rayner, was granted a civil harassment restraining order. Documents noted that Thomas was served with court papers following the judge's decision, and that this restraining order is valid for 2 years. So according to documents obtained by TMZ back in August, the request for a restraining order came after Tom Boyer's book, Revenge, Meghan, Harry, and the War Between the Windsors, was published with an alleged death threat from Thomas. In the book, he said, "I got screwed by Rayner, and I'm going to find a way to screw him over before I die. I want to tear him down. If they tell me I've got terminal cancer, then I'll kill him because I have nothing to lose." So this comes 1 year after Thomas filed a handwritten civil suit against Coleman Rayner for the staged paparazzi photos of himself back in 2018. Of course, you remember, this was right before Meghan's wedding. He's saying that they violated their contract by not allowing him to approve these photos. So what are the terms of this restraining order against Thomas?
Oh my God, Tommy always getting in trouble. And anytime you're writing a handwritten lawsuit, that means that no reputable attorney is taking your case. So red flag right there. And we saw this. I mean, we talked about with Ray J and Kim K, but maybe dad wants to attach himself to his very famous daughter. Maybe that's what this is all about. But whenever you get a restraining order granted against you, well, that's a problem. That means that Thomas can't contact Jeff, in person, phone, electronically, social media, nothing. Essentially stay away order. You can't contact through any third parties or intermediaries. And if you do violate the terms of the restraining order, guess what? You can be arrested. So big problem for Thomas right now. And that's not even counting the problems he has with his case.
Right. I mean, is this the only legal action that Rayner can take against Thomas at this current point?
I mean, Jeff could sue him and even try to get him prosecuted criminally, right? These are criminal threats. You can't threaten to kill someone. That is not protected by the First Amendment and free speech. And you could sue him directly for monetary damages, for emotional distress, for having someone threaten you like that. I don't know if Jeff is going to actually do that. He probably wants nothing to do with Thomas, frankly. And to file a lawsuit means you're going to be dealing with him for years when you already are as a defendant in the case. So I think probably the restraining order is going to be the end of it, unless Thomas violates the order and ends up in jail.
Yeah, well, let's hope he stays far away from this one. Well, Nima, thank you so much for breaking down all the latest celebrity cases with me, as always. I really appreciate it.
Thanks for having me, Christina. See you next week.
For more news, content, and exclusive interviews, make sure to hit the sub, like, and bell button down below, and visit usmagazine.com.